All right, we're on YouTube. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm Tyler Ellison, joined by my friend Starshine of the Sani universe. Starshine, how's everything flowing? How are you doing on this Wednesday?
Yeah, very, very good, my friend. Very excited to be back. It's been a while, so looking forward to it. How are you?
I am looking forward to this as well. I'm doing pretty good, and it's crazy, right? We took about 2 weeks off, and I gotta say, I missed doing this. I thought this actually brings so much interesting and powerful energy into the week. It's just, it's funny if I don't channel a lot, I almost feel like I am missing a certain thing in my life almost. It's a very it's something I really like doing. And when we took these 2 weeks off, it was a part of it where it was like, oh, this is kind of like a nice like break. I get like a little more like Tyler time, my days off, like kind of more of a day off. And after a certain point, it's like, whoa, like now my Wednesday kind of has less like Sasani power, at least on my end, because I'm not, meditating. But on the days where I channel them, it's like always there. And I appreciate everybody here coming because it gives me an opportunity to access those powers. So, and to bring them forth, I think that's the coolest part. We get to give a voice to these invisible dimensions and realms that are quickly making contact with us. The invisible is quickly becoming visible, everybody. So do buckle up. And if you are interested in communing with that which is invisible, that which is occult, that which is hidden, we have our upcoming event this month. We actually have two. This is going to be December 14th. Specifically, if you are looking to get in touch with your own inner self, with your own future self, and if you're looking to get in touch with high vibrational counterparts, then we are doing our transmission, the telepathic golden phone. This is going to be December 14th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be 2 hours long, and we are going to go deep into building telepathic awareness and communing with these different parallel reality versions of us in a very new way using new tools. And ultimately, once you learn how to do this, once you learn how to make this connection with the future you, the you you're actually summoning forth, when you know how to do this for yourself, you can then expand that into contact with other beings. And that is why we have labeled today's transmission Lights in the Sky, because we are moving together in a direction that is ultimately going to create a field of stability that allows for extraterrestrial consciousness to more easily, more smoothly project here. So one level of that projection is ships. Another level of that projection is, inner psychic experiences. Dreams are included in this. And then there's also the most direct level, which is where they project directly into the physical reality. So this is the type of world that humanity is naturally evolving into. And it won't just be ETs. We've been told from many. I know Bashar's talked about this. There's going to be many, many revelations that involve contact with a variety of different beings. Some of them from Earth, some of them from the divine realms. It's a whole almost rainforest, if you will, or jungle. And we are going to be preparing people for contact in the transmissions that will follow this December. So if you want the preparatory techniques that are going to help you to make contact with yourself and with others and with your highest ideal, if that is a foundation you enjoy, following this, the contact protocols are going to be one of the major focuses. And in today's transmission, to celebrate us returning and coming back together to do more channelings, in today's transmission, we are going to be focusing on contact exercises, contact protocols. So this will be a transmission where I believe he's going to be giving activations, meditations to help you enter into a state where those ET counterparts can begin to reveal themselves to you. They're all very close. You have to remember these beings are spatial. Like we exist, as objects almost within space, right? But they are made of a subtler energy, these ETs. They are like a part of the fabric. They're like a part of the makeup of the space, if you will. They're masters of space. That's why they do space travel. And it's both inner and outer space. And I'm saying all of this because ETs are like closer to many of you than you realize. You do have to keep this in mind. We have super limited perceptions. And you have to remember our perceptions are somewhat hallucinatory. What do I mean? I mean, we're not interpreting the external physical reality clearly at all times, right? You're translating sound, you're translating color, you're translating fragrance and taste. Physically, you're doing this as you take these energies in, and the vibrations are going in, the photons are going in, the food's going in. As we take these energies in, these energies begin to activate us. And speaking of activations, I can feel the energy coming in. I don't want to delay. I think that there's going to be a lot that comes through. So thank you guys for coming. And Starshine, if we can, let's take questions from the audience. We'll definitely leave a portion for this, but if we can focus on the contact-centered questions, that would be great.
You got it.
All right. Perfect. 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 So I will go into the state. I'll bring Ryokah of the Sani forth, and we shall begin. Have a great time. Well, we thank you for joining us for this creative exchange and interaction that we share with one another this day, this evening of your times. Dear host, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. How are you, my friend?
I am very well. We are very well. And we are enthused. We will share this, some of the reasons for our enthusiasm. For we have been listening, of course, to the world's and the words that the channel has spoken forth, both the worlds and the words that the channel has spoken forth prior to him bringing me forth. It is your movement towards contact, in particular, as a focus, that is very exciting for me. Therefore, I have a reason to be enthused. However, even without that, my enthusiasm for existence would remain, for I exist, and to exist is inherently more exciting than to not exist. Do keep this in mind. Because of this, I am able to tune in to baseline energies of joy, passion, ecstasy, different excitements, different stimulations, different vibrational frequencies. So I am greatly enthused, and I am happy to be here and to be working with all of you to explore this direction and to explore this connection. Keep in mind that as you become more of yourselves, you inherently become more aware of your energy field. As you become more aware of your inner being, as you become more aware of the light within you, you become more aware of the energetic dimensions to you. These are the dimensions where the energies of contact first reach you. You must remember that you have an awareness field, your aura, your electromagnetic field. It contains your mind. In other words, your mind is not just up here. Your mind is in every cell of your body. Your mind is also in your aura. It is a projection of your mind. It is here where telepathic contact first happens. As you become more of yourself, you let go of that which is inauthentic to you, that which does not serve you. And as you do this, it is as if energies within the aura become transformed, become cleansed. Think of a beautiful sky and think of storm clouds being dispelled and sunlight shining forth. This is what occurs within the aura, energetically speaking, as you become more of yourselves. This will allow for the energies that I send and other beings, these energies that are being sent, it will enable them to reach you. And you will be able to experience them very clearly, very directly. So connect to yourself as step one. Have a moment of self-reflection, looking within, and recognize that your inner being is energy. Your inner being is subtle, and start to become aware from the inner self of the space. And it is here at the spatial level, once the space has been adequately transformed, it is in the space level where the messages may come forth. In the meditation today, we will be guiding you into that space level so you can experience the inner being, the auric transformation, and the communication. If you practice what we go over today on your own, you will experience many activations, many changes, and your ability to receive the communication will increase. So we thank you for receiving this. We will take questions if you have questions that relate to contact, that relate to telepathy, shared between yourself and star family.
Great, so let's get started. The first question is what practices can I include in my meditation and breath work to help facilitate the rate of contact?
Well, the practices that we do today will be very useful. Think of it like this: your breathing exercises and any yogas you're doing, all of this, these are essentials. Use these to build a spiritual foundation. It sounds like you already are doing that. In terms of how you should expand, the key is visualization. The key is creating an astral environment around you within your aura that is made up of the same types of energies that would be preferable to an extraterrestrial being. So you're sort of creating a cosmic environment within the aura from a place of spiritual focus and intensity. So you can do your breathing exercises, your yoga, whatever gives you that power. And then from here, the key is third eye visualization. Link the world you're visualizing with your heart. And the key is you can begin to conceptualize, to project that an ET being is manifesting in this environment. At first, it might just be a picture. And you may say, oh, it's just a projection of mind, and it's not really contact. If you continue to energize that picture, if you continue to meditate in such a way where you are picturing these beings showing up, eventually that thought form that is the visualized extraterrestrial body, it will become conscious. It will become a body, a spiritual body that an extraterrestrial being can project into your reality through utilizing it. So what at first is just a visualization with enough power becomes a living entity. And that living entity will reveal to you those that it represents. And contact will deepen. You'll start to get messages. And it's a relationship. But that's more or less the first step in terms of beginning to build that relationship from a meditation perspective.
Great, thank you.
Of course, you're very welcome.
Up next, has anybody in your society ever teleported with just their body?
With just their body? Without
Yes.
their soul, without their spirit, just the body?
That's
Oh,
the
they mean
question.
without technology, just using their body and their mind. Has anyone in my civilization ever teleported? Yes. Yes, absolutely. With mind, we can do that. Yes, because we are a part of the fabric. Yes, we are quasi-physical. So there's a physicality to us. Many of you know this. We can densify ourselves at will. You could grab my arm if I were in front of you. At the same time, I could de-densify myself, and it would be as if you passed through me. So you must keep in mind that teleportation involves dissolving, essentially, or de-densifying the self, reducing the self's frequency and energy state back to that which is immaterial. And once you have dissolved in such a way, energetically, you can then re-densify yourself in another location, essentially through focusing on that location with a certain intensity. You can bring your spiritual body into physical manifestation. So it's mediated through focus. It's mediated through intention. It's supplemented and increased and assisted through technology, but it is ultimately driven by consciousness. And yes, the first members of my species whom were doing this were not using a technology. This is what they were practicing. They were the mystics, you could say, of my species. They spent time cultivating. That was their passion. That was their joy, to expand into their multidimensional powers and abilities. And when members of a civilization do that, it brings the whole civilization up. So these are the beings that helped to promote the telepathic connection. These are the beings whom helped to push us forward into non-physicality in terms of an evolutionary direction. So yes, this has happened and still happens. And it's not unique to my species. But yes, we do this.
Very exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Up next, what is the relationship between the Mayab and the Pleiadians? And will the Mayab be involved in our open first contact?
The Maya?
Mayab.
Mayab. Is there a definition for Mayab that we can receive? Are you aware of Mayab? We have not heard this word before, at least not in English.
I have heard it, maybe I don't know if they're related to the Mayans, Mayab. I don't know. I'm not sure.
How's the word spelled?
Mayab.
Provide a definition, questioner, about this in particular. Which system Mayab is of.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
We can
so
talk more about it, but we are desiring for that type of sharing. Yes, that's very nuanced. Yes.
okay, so then let's move on to the next one. How do we create a materializer, such as in Star Trek, very sci-fi, or replicator?
Materializer. Ultimately, it is a type of technology that can create a holographic projection that is capable of densifying on different levels. So imagine projecting, for example, a hologram of a kitchen table. And it's a complete projection of the table, perfect proportions. If you were to keep that projection going with enough time, the device would be able to densify slowly, 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 slowly into physicality. The idea is the device must be capable of channeling and organizing what you would call etheric energy or prana. This is going to allow for the image, the holographic projection that the device gives rise to have an energy body that is somewhat like a living organism. And if certain frequencies are introduced, that energy body that's in the form of a table can become vibrationally identical to a fully manifested table. And through that resonance and that alignment, the energy densifies, it densifies into the form of the table made out of the material that such a table ought to be made out of. It implies some very interesting things, and such technologies do exist. This is how I am describing it. I am describing that which exists, so you can understand how you could go about creating something like that. It's more advanced than perhaps what most of you are used to, but nevertheless, that's the type of mechanics involved.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Up next, what do beings look like in the spirit realm? Is everybody just an orb, or are there differences?
There are differences. Some beings are like orbs. Keep in mind, the orb, sometimes the oval, this is one of the basic geometries that consciousness will utilize. But inside the orb, for many forms of consciousness, it's like a person is in there, a body is in there, or many people are in there. Some orbs that hold these inner deities, they are vehicles, you see. So beings look like orbs most of the time. And if you were to focus into the center of the orb, you would see perhaps the spiritual form or image or persona of the person. There are some, their form is less spherical, more related to the body their consciousness is most used to or prefers. So some form will be chosen, and the form will be complementary to that soul's theme of exploration, to that spirit's theme of exploration. So they can look like orbs, they can look like beings within orbs, and some can look very familiar. Human form, animal form, alien form, all of this. All of this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Up next, what role will the ETs play with our governments when it comes to open contacts?
Well, the idea is they are currently playing roles with your government, but one of the major roles they will be playing in a more public way is the assistance of resource production, allocations, technology. For everyone whom is listening, ETs will come in with technologies, with knowledge, with wisdom, with new resource, new capabilities. Many things will be brought to Earth. And there will be a time where those you have appointed and some of these ETs, there will be a time where conversations will unfold and how these new ideas, technologies, and resources will flow into the society, how to best organize that, because it will upgrade everything very quickly. It will give people a lot of power very quickly. So there's a conversation going on about how to share these new updates. And again, resources, technologies, wisdom, all types of things. So that's going to be one of the roles, one of the dynamics, those types of conversations. But of course, it's not as if your governmental bodies are gatekeepers in that way. It's not as if ET beings have to go through governmental organization necessarily, but sometimes they will, especially for more mainstream things that involve open contact in a more global way. They have to get everybody involved. But of course, you can have more personal interactions and receive such things.
Thank you.
Of course.
So circling back to the Pleiadian question, so the race was the Mayans, the Maya. So the person was asking if the Pleiadians have a relationship with them and if the Maya will be part of open contact with us.
They're talking about the Mayan people. That's
Yeah.
correct. All right, sure, sure. That's why we asked. It's important. Sometimes there's typos, sometimes things aren't clear, sometimes someone will use a different word than is commonly understood. So always pay attention to the details, the nuance. So the question is, what is the relationship between the Mayan people, the Pleiadians, and contact? One of the things that will happen is the following. Those humans whom have already ascended and are now spacefaring, some of them shall return. And some of them, genetically speaking, are the Mayan people of Earth. There's still Mayan people on Earth. They didn't all leave. But the Mayan people truly had an ascension that brought them off world. There were many groups within the Americas who returned to the stellar origins of their DNA lineage. Different ETs that they were in communion with brought them. So the beings of the Pleiades worked very deeply with the Mayan people. This is one of the reasons why you can see a shared name, the correspondence, the star Maya. Yes. This is one of the reasons. So there is a connection to the Seven Sisters, the Mayan people. The Pleiadians helped the Mayan people to ascend. And when open contact is in full swing, there will be contact from the Pleiadians and the Mayans in terms of extraterrestrial beings. With the Mayans, they are, of course, terrestrial originally, but to you, they will now appear as somewhat extraterrestrial. So that will be occurring. It will occur in different ways. And for many, it will be quasi-physical to physical at the later stages. So it builds up. But these types of things will happen. Societies that have left will return.
Thank you.
Yes.
Up next, what is the benevolent role of the Benevolent Greys right now? What are they up to?
Well, they oftentimes act as scientists. They gather information, they study things, they are curious, just as humans have a type of curiosity. Humans like to tinker with things, to build things, to study and understand things. The Greys are like this. The benevolent ones research, and they share their research with other species and other organizations of species that are interested in that which is auspicious to life, that which is service to others, as you might call it, that which is designed to nourish and grow. So the benevolent Greys will gather information, will gather their own understandings of scientific data, and they will share this with other species that will use it in a nourishing way. So the Greys act as scientists for many, 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 many species across the cosmos. It's one of their major roles. So many of the benevolent ones, they will perform their science. That might be research, that might be inventing things, that might be building things. There are all types of different applications.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've actually heard that the Greys will end up coming out as being the ones that are very involved with our sciences, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is one of the reasons for the leaps in your technologies over the last 100 years or so. Communion with their kind has accelerated a lot. And when I say communion with their kind, it's not the first time that the Greys have aided humanity and shared technology. They do this across the timeline because they are not bound by time. So they show up now across Earth's history, across humanity's history, and interact. And in that way, your timeline is constantly shifting.
Great, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Up next, how can we know the difference between a real dream and an encounter in dream state?
In an encounter, you will feel changed. You might feel tempted to push it away and say it's just a dream, but it's like it won't leave you alone. You may find you keep thinking about it, you keep looking back at it, like you can't shake it off of you. If you wake up from a dream and you had contact in the dream and that's your feeling, it's likely way more than just a dream. If it is truly relevant and is meant for you to explore, it will hang around. It will mean something to you. You will feel affected by it. You will feel interested in it. This is how you know it is contact. If it were truly just a dream, it would not touch you in the same way. Think of how you discard many things in your dream world. You will say, oh, it's just a dream. Let it go. You know it is just a dream because you do not create the same emotional intensity and connection with that which is just a dream. You know it's unreal, but that has a certain element of realness to it as you understand real as a physical being, that will affect you in some way. You will feel moved by it. You will feel touched by it. You will feel excited by it. You may feel even perhaps a little intimidated by it, but if it has affected you in that way, if you have a strong response or knee-jerk reaction to the energy, let all of that be an indicator. You can use it as a type of check mark, if you want, that indicates this is contact.
Thank you. Up next, what's the edge of the Sasani's understanding of reality? What would you speculate goes beyond that edge?
Well, a level of consciousness beyond my own. These are the beings of Sirius are like. They have a higher level of consciousness than we do. So when I explore with them, when my people explore with them, it expands us. And the limits of the Sasanian view, well, those limits become lesser. We become more like the levels of consciousness beyond my people. And for us, that represents the worlds of Sirius. So for many, after life in the Sasanian civilization, many will ascend into the light realms of Sirius. So they represent that which is, in a certain sense, beyond us. They are our mentors, our teachers. We are becoming like them, just as you, in your own way, are becoming a little bit more like us. So, what is the edge of my understanding? It depends on how far I push things. There's a certain limit of understanding. Yet, if I focus hard enough, if I become like my Syrian mentors, well, then I can actually dissolve myself, go past that limit, just as we had talked about before with the teleportation. If I were to dissolve myself, going from quasi-physical into a total non-physical state, my limit would also dissolve. I am still somewhat Sasanian in that dissolved state, but I'm more like a spirit, therefore I'm more unlimited. So the limit that I experience depends on what I focus on, depends on how I organize my energy, and I am being guided to master the creation and the dissolving of limitation, which is one of the reasons why I have chosen to work with Earth and to study humans.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Up next, is following your passion and excitement in every moment the quickest way to facilitate contact?
If done with a certain focus, the idea is that having a motivation, following my passion for contact, living my joy for contact, being my truth for contact, having a motivation like that is fine. But it is a motivation that comes from that which is outside. It is a motivation that is based upon what something will bring. That's fine. That's not a bad thing. Honor that. Yet also follow your passion and your joy, not just because it will bring contact quickly. Follow it because you love yourself. Follow it because you are committed to yourself, the well-being of yourself, and recognizing that all people are an extension, an expression of self. If that's how you follow your passion and your joy, you will achieve open contact like that, because you will be sharing a heart with all of your people if you live in such a way, if that's your motivation, if you're following your joy and your passion because you love yourself, and that is your evidencing of it, that is your demonstration of it. If this is what you pick, you will fall in love with yourself, you will fall in love with everyone, and as a result, contact will come more quickly. So that is what I mean about my answer in terms of will following your passion be the fastest way to achieve contact? If it's done with that focus, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Up next, what are the ET origins of Hinduism?
ET origins of Hinduism. It has to do with similar storylines that are common in your Anunnaki stories from the Sumerian civilizations. It's similar to this concept. Different beings from different realities, some of them non-physical, some of them quasi-physical, and some of them physical. These beings made contact with ancient humans. Not only did contact with ancient humans occur, some of them created their own versions of humanity. And you all together share one Earth and think you're all the same species. Many different versions of humanity existing side by side by side. So The extraterrestrial origins of Hinduism have a lot to do with this. Explorers, geneticists, creators, artists on the celestial level, descending to Earth and doing what they do. And of course, when they interacted with humanity, humans asked, how do we become more like you? You are so brilliant. You are untouched, unfazed by anything. You're so free. How do we become like you? So, certain techniques and tools were given. You have the idea of exoteric Hinduism and esoteric Hinduism. These are paths that these beings laid out. And humanity has created within the Hindu tradition, of course, has created deities within the tradition. Not all the deities are extraterrestrial. So do keep that in mind. There's a lot of nuance, but it's very similar to what is described in a few other traditions, particularly the Sumerian tradition.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. We will take a final question and then we shall allow the channel to return to a normalized state of consciousness.
Okay, great. So are the Greys still abducting us, and how do they understand how the abductions have affected us?
The hybridization program does not require, at this point, a great deal of novel genetic material from humanity. Most of what is needed has been collected. And now at this point, a type of network has been built that connects your genomes as one version of humanity to the genomes of the hybrids. And ultimately, now a type of genetic communication network has been built. Keep in mind that the DNA taken is not just to build hybrid bodies, it is to build a network of DNA that spans multiple species and acts as an energy distribution technology, a communication technology, and a technology of consciousness. So, this type of technology I am describing, this type of genomic power I am describing, this is the result of what the program has produced, one of the many results. Many things have occurred, not just the creation of hybrid beings. So, now that this is built, other phases of contact and relationship are being initiated. So it's less of an abduction time, and it's more of people consciously venturing out to interact with them. So there's less abductions happening because, well, this part of the program has already been completed. So now the interactions are more voluntary because people now have an interest. There's now people remote viewing the Greys, astral journeying into the Greys world. So that's changed a little bit. There are still perhaps some groups that have their own agendas, very outside of what I'm describing here, that perhaps perform abductions. But those types of beings are not beings that I necessarily interact with. They are perhaps of a certain variety of gray, connected to what you call perhaps the ancient Orion varieties. So it is not to say that they are all nefarious Greys from the Orion system, but there are some that come from the Orion system that really honor what you might call the old paradigm, the old way. So in their processes, in their relationships, they may be sometimes domineering, off-putting. So those things, of course, in some realities are still happening. But in terms of what you would call the mainstream hybridization program, those abductions, those temporary detainments have greatly decreased because of the success of the program.
Thank you. Well, so I guess that was our last question for now.
Was our last question. We thank you for taking these questions. We thank you for creating the space with us for more energy to come forth. And now let us create even more deeply together. If you would like to experience a deepening of your telepathic connection to extraterrestrials, let us perform the exercise I mentioned in the beginning together. Now, if you'd like. Get in a nice, comfortable seated position. Bring the tongue tip up to the roof of your mouth. We are going to clear out the heart of any excess heat, any excess fire. Inhale and make fists. Press your middle fingers into your palm. On your exhale, open your palm and make the ha sound like you're sighing, long and slow. Open your palms and exhale. Feel heat descend down your body, out through your feet, into the ground. Inhale. Letting go. Make the ha sound. Open the hands. Open the fists. And a third time, inhale, make fists. Exhale the ha sound. And begin to rock the body slowly, left and right. The left and right movement brings the left and right brain into synchrony. This is how you get the two hemispheres to work together very quickly. Breathe in and out through your feet as you rock left and right. Notice thoughts, notice feelings, let them go with the breath out through the feet. And notice what comes up. Maybe there are desires, there are hungers, maybe there are judgments. Whatever comes up, notice, let it go down, out through the feet, letting yourself become empty. And as you rock, become aware of your bones. Think of your skeleton. This, in a certain sense, is the scaffolding for the inner you. This is a crystalline bone matrix. Keep that in mind. And as you connect to your skeleton while rocking, breathe into it. See your bones, your skeleton glowing with gold as you rock. And think, I love myself all the way to the bone. And feel as you rock and hold this awareness of your golden skeleton, breathing into it. Feel that power. Feel how that statement awakens your skeleton. You can repeat it as well. When you put your mind into the skeleton, you are connecting to a crystal matrix that holds and supports the inner self. So close the eyes, focus on the bones to speak to the inner you, foundation. Become fascinated as you rock and as you feel into the bones. Have you ever felt yourself in such a way before? If this is new, take a moment to feel that novelty. Maybe there's an unusualness to it. Maybe there's a natural ease you're having in the process, but take a moment to become aware of your experience. Remember, the technique is designed to bring you to a place. So what is the place you experience as you put your mind into the skeleton? Smiling, feeling a Mona Lisa smile on the face. Feel that smile radiates a power downwardly to your heart. You can tap your sternum, the chest bone, activating it, smiling down into it. Cover your heart with your hands. Feel the heartbeat. Feel it going through the skeleton. And feel it rippling and radiating into the entirety of your body. Feeling the heartbeat. The vibration goes through the bones. The loving heart charges the and feel that the energy goes past the bones into the aura. Feel your heartbeat, your love expanding past your body into the aura. And as you feel the heartbeat radiating in to the aura around you, give your aura a shape. Give your aura a geometry. Sense that you are perhaps seated in the center of a snow globe or something like this. And sense that you are able to project anything you desire onto the interior of this sphere that you find yourself seated within. Take a moment, project the universe. See the cosmos in all directions. Feel that there is a true depth to this image. The cosmos above, below, to the left, to the right, to the front, to the back. Take a moment, notice the cosmos. Notice the universe. Begin to add things to your universe. See galaxies slowly spiraling. Add things to this world you're building. Galaxies spinning, planets rotating. This is happening all around your body. Feel the power of the universe moving around you. See shooting stars. And see how this universe you're imagining seems to have always existed around your body. Notice many beautiful things. See beautiful emanations of multi-dimensional cosmic beauty. And see in the distance strange twinkling lights, like stars, but they do not behave like stars. They seem to twinkle at you in a pattern, like they are communicating a message. Noticing their colors, noticing their movements. At first, they are a little mysterious, but watch them move around your aura. Watch them move around the universe. Just keep your eye on them. Where are they moving to? See that these twinkling stars begin to move in dynamic patterns in very wonderful ways, as if they are tracing magical symbols in the universe. And see these three lights come together as one. And see an extraterrestrial being seated in the center of this orb of light made of the twinkling strange stars. And see that this alien being, this ET being, has a steering wheel, a control system. See that he is legitimately in a craft. And sense that it is not just a technological craft, it is a craft of consciousness. Make eye contact with him or her. Hey, see that many of the stars in the universe are also like this one. There is a being inside. Sense that all of the stars you have been picturing, all of the galaxies, all of this, sense that every last star is actually an extraterrestrial being disguised as a star. Sense this as you sense the cosmos in your aura. Sense that the stars themselves are made of ETs. Hold this awareness, hold this feeling. Feel how all the stars in that sense are conscious, for this is why the ancients referred to them as watchers. And see all of the stars in your visualization all around you, glowing with light. And see that your whole aura glows with white light. All the stars get brighter, brighter, and brighter until their glow, their luminosity is all that can be seen. Condense and shrink this aura down into the belly button. See all of that light shrinking down, entering into the belly button, forming an energy ball in your low abdomen. Bring all that light in, form an energy sphere inside, condensing all of that light. This light is the extraterrestrial consciousness, expressing as those stars, those galaxies. Speak into this light. Extraterrestrial, multi-dimensional, spirit guides, allies, and counterparts. I call upon you. Reveal yourself in my life clearly, directly, in a loving, auspicious way that grants me wisdom and that brings us both into higher levels of experience and higher levels of giving and receiving love. Thank you for guiding me towards goodness and wisdom, and thank you for the guidance you have always shared and continue to share. And so it is. And let yourself just remain quiet. From here, let go of the visualization, let go of the light, just close the eyes. Keep your attention in your center of gravity and just remain aware. In this stage, you're absorbing the energy. You might get a download, you might get a message, you might get a feeling, you might get a color, might be very subtle. But whatever you get, take note of it. If nothing comes, that's not a sign of failure. You're resting, you're absorbing all of the energy. The key is this sets the stage for the sensitivities to be present so you can detect ET vibrations when they are around you. That is what this visualization will help you with. You will detect their frequency when it is present. So just rest for a moment, breathing into your center of gravity, into the belly button. Just keep the mind here. Notice the thoughts and let go. And when you are ready to return to a normalized state, give your hands a clap. Pat the body down. This is going to bring you back to a normalized physical state. We thank you all for joining for this exercise, for these updates, and for sharing with us your questions and your ideas. We look forward to exploring with all of you more, and we shall see you very soon for the telepathic golden phone coming up in just a few weekends. Have an exciting here and now. Our unconditional love to you all. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you so much. I hope you had a great time. Starshine, thank you for taking all those questions and organizing it.
Thank you, my friend. It was a blast seeing you all as well.
Heck yeah. We will see you guys again soon. We'll be back next Wednesday and we will be doing some great events. So stay tuned. December 14th and 15th. Mind of Magnetism, which is all about that self relationship and how to relate well to others. Mind of Magnetism and then telepathic golden phones. So buckle up, my friends. It's going to be a great launch.